to you so you know if I actually understand it. Okay. I'm just imagining some orb. Okay, that's just the way my visual systems work. Okay, so I'm imagining an orb over a landscape, and this landscape, the orb can shoot out one of its tendrils, and then that's the equivalent of logging on. Okay, and the orb represents consciousness. The orb represents me in some way, but this orb right now doesn't have feelings because it's not logged on. I don't know if that's actually true, but in my metaphor, okay, so right now it has no sense data. It somehow puts out an arm, goes into this little baby boy who has certain proclivities, and then grows up, and it's fed that to its consciousness, that orb. Okay, then when this boy dies in the physical world, the body dies, let's say, is the claim that the orb persists, and also that the orb was there before the baby was born, or is it that the orb was created with the baby somehow?
Okay, it's all of the above. It's a little confusing, but let me try to lay it out for you.
Yeah, just correct me where I'm
so
somewhat insensate.
So we start with a individuated unit of consciousness, okay? And that's really who you are. You're a piece of consciousness. You're just think of it as this big consciousness system, and it just takes a part of itself and partitions that off and calls it you.
Okay.
That's an IUOC. Yep. It's just a piece of itself. So you can think of an emulated, piece of this larger system. So you're just a piece of the larger system, and all right. So now that's you. You're the consciousness.
Okay.
Now, he finds out that you can evolve more readily if you log onto this game, because this is an entropy reduction trainer, and what you're trying to do is reduce your entropy.
Okay.
So because of that, you take a piece of yourself. Now you partition off just a piece of yourself that contains your quality of consciousness, and that piece of yourself now is the thing that's receiving the data stream and is logged onto the game and is working the game. Okay, so it has an avatar, and it's experiencing.
It's just a piece of myself, though.
Just a piece of yourself.
What are the other pieces doing in this example?
The other piece is basically going to be the accumulation function of all of your experiences, because the whole point is to evolve, and to do that is a iterative process.
All of my experiences from past lives, or all of my
past lives, all of your experience from all the avatars you've ever played, all the choices that you've ever made, all of that is kept and accumulated because it's all part of this growing up process. If you understand your history, it's easier to make sense of what you're doing. So it's this cumulative function. So that's what your IUOC is, that function. So it takes a part of itself, not the memory of all those past lives or anything else. It takes just the quality, logs on, becomes you, the little baby boy. You go through life, and that little baby boy gets old and dies of old age. And now what happens? As soon as he dies of old age, he's no longer in the avatar anymore. Avatar's dead. So the avatar, you're not getting any more sense data from the avatar. Sense data stopped. Okay, so that consciousness that was this free will awareness unit, this subset of the IUOC, it starts to take that partition down. It starts to reintegrate with the individuated unit of consciousness, life over. So yes, that individuated unit of consciousness is immortal. It lives on through many lifetimes. Just because your elf dies, the player doesn't drop over dead. The player continues on. So now that, instead of being a player where you just have all of you, you're there, you're in your room, you have a refrigerator in the next door, and you're playing, and you can always put it on pause. We're not doing it that way. We're going to take a part of you that's going to log on and stay with that game, period. From that point on, it's just logged onto that game and doesn't do anything else. And it starts not with any memory of what it started with, but just with its quality. Okay, so we have, so it's just a piece of you. All right, now that you die, that piece of you now, the partition's taken down because it's not logged on. No point logging on to a dead thing. So the partition's taken down. That free will awareness unit kind of becomes a part of the individuated unit of consciousness, and one more lifetime of experience is there for it to try to evolve from its experience. And then it begins, the individual unit of consciousness starts to negotiate for another lifetime, another chance to learn things. And it repeats again. partitions off a part of itself at its now new higher quality of consciousness because you were a good boy and you did a lot of good things. So now you leave